Hello everyone, and welcome to this cast here. We're going to be having Dionysus, part of exioN Gaming, going up against Reese. And this is just a ladder game. This is not for a tournament or anything like that. Let's start here. And this is going to be on Cloud Kingdom. And this is very much a Protoss favored map. There's not really too much dispute about that, at least in the PvP matchup, although it's really just thought to be a Protoss map all around. See GLHF going out, a little bit of chat, just standard stuff. And I find this game really interesting for a couple of reasons, which we'll get into as the cast progresses. But basically it's Dionysus doing something that I think a lot of Protoss should start doing, a really strong way to utilize your units, and also to keep the Terran in his own base, which we see a lot of in the current metagame. Protoss, they just kind of sit inside their 2 base, and they get everything they think they're going to need to stop a medevac timing push, and you know, the push may or may not come, but eventually they just end up in a position where they're very behind. And eventually, at some point, the Terran's going to have far more stuff than them. EMP, stim in, have Vikings hit the Colossus, and everything just melts. But, you know, that's not the case all the time. But if you can secure that third with absolutely no pressure, and in fact you can be greedy while securing it, from the Terran at least, no pressure from the Terran, I think that's a really, you know, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to argue that that's not a good thing. Protoss being able to be greedy in their tech and in their economy, that's just not going to go too well for Terran. So the very first thing that I like about this game is Dionysus. He skips his gas and he goes for a gasless expand. And like very often you'll see people get the Vespene Geyser and then the Cyber Core and then the Nexus. But I mean, they're not going to put on any aggression with this. I mean, if you're going for a 4-gate after your 1-gate expand, that's different, but for a defensive play, I like this quick Nexus much more. I mean, this is going to be about a minute quicker than it would be were you to get that gas and Cyber Core. And then he just goes ahead and gets those right after the Nexus. So unless there's any like proxy 1111 coming, this isn't really going to make a difference in how you hold off the packs, but it is going to give you far more money to play around with. And you know, I mean, I'm a big fan of that. Over on the other side, Reese, he's going for this command center before the second supply depot, another a bit more economic-minded opening. But Terran, they don't really have as much room to play around with this, just simply because you need a barracks to get your orbital command, and a mule will give you 270 minerals. So everyone's just going to want to go for that orbital right away. I mean, you can't really go like barracks, command center, orbital. I suppose you could, but it just doesn't make sense. Whereas Protoss, they can sort of throw around the order of their buildings a bit more. But here we go. We have a fake bunker rush coming in from Reese. He's not actually planning to, you know, go completely all in with this, but look on Dionysus' vision. He doesn't yet see that command center, so he has to take this seriously. He can't just, you know, oh, let's just ignore it, whatever. Now, the main concern for Dionysus is the second bunker. This one is really of no concern, as it doesn't hit his Nexus, whereas this one is very much in range of the Nexus. Now, what Reese is trying to do here is he'll have this bunker, and that will protect this bunker. It'll allow it to get up, because anything that comes in here is going to be shot by the Marines. However, that SCV is so low on health, as he only sent 1 SCV, I believe. No, he sent 3, but usually you'll send about 5 or 6 if you're going to go completely committed to a bunker rush. So because of that, Dionysus is easily able to clean up this bunker rush, and you know, the game will just progress from here. He tries to save the Zealot by pulling it back, doesn't pull it back quite far enough. That's okay though, easy mistake to make. And he's in a very good position right now. He's up 8 supply, his Nexus is faster, and he's up by 8 workers, 7 workers. I mean, that's not a bad position to be in. As a Protoss, I don't think no one goes into the game wanting to be down in workers to a Protoss player. I mean, that can't really be helped as much, because Protoss have that chrono boost ability on their workers, whereas Terran do not. So in this early game, you're always going to see a little bit of advantage for the Protoss, but not quite so much as 7 workers. So yeah, Now, here he is going and adding on those 3 more gates, which you might think it's a 4-gate attack. However, he's got something else in mind. He's going to go ahead and drop that Twilight Council and go for 4-gate Blink. And this is really, really, really interesting to me. Where is that Twilight Council? There it is. Now, you will see Protoss going for Blink. This is not in itself unusual, but the Blink always serves one purpose, and that is to defend medevacs. You never really see Blink being used aggressively, unless it's a 4-gate Blink Ops on one base, but those are very map specific. This is, you know, he's just expanding, and then he's getting up Blink. And his plan with it is basically just to keep the Terran inside of his base. With the amount of units he have, you know, like a handful of Stalkers, in a straight up fight he would get absolutely demolished. But he's going to use his mobility to his advantage, and because of this he's safe against the medevac stim timing. Because the Terran's running around all over the place trying to hold off Blink Stalkers, and he doesn't know if there's more coming, he doesn't know if it's an all-in, etc. And because of this, Dionysus is able to very easily secure his 3rd. And that is basically the main point of contention in a TVP. Oh, trapping a probe there, that's a bit unfortunate. A little bit of an error in that building placement there, but you can see he re-values his main, so it's going to be all good. But, I mean, your average TVP is going to be about 50 food worth of bio, 2 to 4 medevacs, stimming in and trying to cancel your 3rd. And if you lose it, you're behind. If you keep it, you're ahead. And that's basically how it goes. But he's flipping this on its head. He's going to be the aggressor. He's going to be the one attacking. And behind this, he can be as greedy as he wants, because the Terran, you know, he's freaked out. He doesn't know what's going on. Is this an 8-gate? Is this a 7-gate? You know, how concerned do I need to be? And he can't really afford to use a scan, because he needs the mules for money to make his bio units. So just a really, really cool little tactic here by Dionysus, and we're going to see this attack start happening. He's going to have the Observer to give him high ground vision, so he can blink up and down this cliff as much as he pleases. And, you know, Reese, he thinks it's a 4-gate, just straight up without blink, so he's building all these bunkers in front. These bunkers aren't going to help him. You know, he needs these in his base, in his main base. So all the units down here, Blink finishing up, Observer's on the way, and we're going to start to see this harass kick into action. Now he realizes what's up after Dionysus has revealed the Blink. He's throwing down a bunker. But, you know, what's Dionysus doing behind this? Well, he's teching, he's getting his robotics bay, and he's taking a 3rd base. You're generally not able to do both of these things at once. If you're going to take a 3rd, you want to add on a few more gateways for those 4 pins trying to be safe. I mean, if you're having Colossus pop out, like you put down the Colossus Bay earlier, that's one thing, but to put it down at the same time as you're expanding is really not something you're going to see very much in this matchup. So SCV is being pulled into the main to repair up the bunker, and then he realizes that he doesn't need quite that many, and he's already got a good stock of SCVs right here if he needs them, so sends it back. Missile turret going down. I do like this missile turret. I can easily see someone going DTs with this and just trying to distract with the blink. Going DTs, I mean, that's a really risky build. Like, if you're doing that, you're really going to need to get some area splash up soon, or you will just die to a straight up stim push. But, you know, he's respecting the fact that it's a possibility, making the missile turret. That's all well and good. Now here's where it gets interesting. He stims the units, but, oh, you can just blink out. So what's that stim? It's costing the medevac energy. He's got to sit there, healing up his units. And what's he doing? He's not dropping, and he's not pressuring the 3rd. These are the 2 things that Dionysus wants for this. 2 more medevacs on the way, +1 finishing up. And look at all the stuff he's doing at home. He's getting thermal lamps, he's getting charge, he's adding more gateways, triple producing probes, getting another Colossus, +1 armor. And he can't be punished for this, because if he does, oh, he'll just hop right up into the main and start shooting away at these SCVs before Terran's even halfway across the map. And he's going to know if the Terran's pushing across the map because he's got the watchtower. So just a really sort of interesting build from Dionysus. He's going to try and go down to the low ground and catch this army out of position, which is a fair thing to do, but Blink Stalkers, they're pretty nimble. They can just blink right away, and then come back when you leave. Stimming again, Dionysus, very nice shift Q blink. That's actually not very easy to do. If you just go and you V-click right up here, half of them are going to get stuck down here and they're going to die to the bio. So what, to do that little move, you hold down shift, and then you right click, and then you put the left click up on the high ground, and then they will go up one at a time, as you just saw. See, look how damaged this force is now, just from defending this harass. It's all stemmed up, all his medevacs have got to use their energy on it. And his third is very, very late. I mean, this is more Reese's fault than Dionysus' good doing, but still, that's what these kind of builds will do. You'll forget things. You'll forget those upgrades, you might forget a base, forget to add add-ons onto your barracks, because you're so focused on defending the Stalker harass. Factory floating around down here, may want to land that when he does his push, to make a little bit of a choke for himself. And still, these Stalkers being annoying, kicking off a medevac, stimming all these units to try and chase them, but, you know, not even catching them. I mean, it's just, it's very, very hard to play against something if you're not used to it. And I guarantee you, this Terran right here is not used to playing against Blink Stalkers aggressively. Third, not moving out yet. Should be landing that right now, I think. But we'll forgive him because this is a pretty intense game. And he's gonna probably try and, you know, put on some pressure with these units now. But look, we've got 3 Colossus and not a Viking in sight. So this push that's so scary and so powerful is no longer either of those things, because he's been given the time, his third base has been mining, he's had these extra gas, and he's had the time to pump out those power units, which you're not going to have with, at the same time you're making Blink Stalkers. But if you can keep them in their base for long enough, you can get away with this. And still poking with these Stalkers, just moving in. Oh, it's a bit sloppy there, losing one, but, you know, moving in, shooting, and moving back. Moving in, shooting, and moving back. And Reese is just going to turn home. He knows he can't end the game. He scanned those Colossus. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's in a bit of trouble here. They're just now starting to mine. And, you know, he's got 1 Viking producing at a time. That should probably be 4. But he doesn't have the money. And he's got 54 SCVs to 74 probes. Mules are good, but they're not that good. Starting the reactor there on that Viking. Probably be looking to throw down that 4th command center. And he's got this big bio ball poking around, you know, threatening. But Dionysus, he sees this, and he's like, okay, well, you want to fight my 4 Colossus with only 1 Viking? Let's do it. They moved in here, and what usually would be a bad angle for the Protoss, if they're kind of tight around this little banana-shaped thing here, and your Zealots, they're going to be charging on top of one another, and getting stuck, and not attacking all at once. But with 4 Colossus, that doesn't even matter. 5 Colossus, excuse me, to 1 Viking, I mean, you simply can't engage that. All your units, the bio units, they'll get fried, they'll melt, won't be good times. Now the 4th base going up for Dionysus. Reese, he sees this, and he's basically got 2 options. He can try and macro out of it, or he can go completely all in. And those are really his 2 options. Now, to macro out of it, 1 command center is not going to do the trick. He would need to throw down like 2 or 3 more, and land them all at once, and try and get a big base advantage. And behind this, he'd need to be pressuring. And this is all well and good, but he doesn't have the money. Like, he doesn't have 800 minerals. He can't make a bunch of command centers. What he is doing is adding 3 more barracks. Oh, he is adding a command center, okay. So he's going to try and macro out of it, but he doesn't really have the tools to get ahead by doing that. He can just kind of hope to get even. And now he scans and sees, oh crap, Templar Storm is coming. And he has no ghosts, and only 4 Vikings to the 5 Colossus. I mean, he's really been thrown off this one. And, you know, kind of forgetting his army for a second, and that's all it takes. Dionysus grabs that, charges in, Zealots slaughtering all over these bio units, Thorns everywhere, and that's going to be the game. So just very, very interesting game, and very well played by Dionysus, showing us that Blink Stalkers can be used aggressively in PvP.